From Kate Cora. When you are guests at con, how do you guys manage your energy levels? As an introvert, I like people, but I find that I'm wiped out after a period of continuous socializing.
It's a grind. You have to have a predisposition to wanting to talk, interact with a lot of people. If not, you have to at least put on a smile. I mean, I've done it for years and years, so it's a little easier for me now. I'm disciplined. You have to conserve. If you're not going to be talking to people for like 5 to 7 hours a day, if not more, you have to conserve your energy level. Fortunately, that's not always possible. You have to make sure you're eating right throughout the day. You have some hydration is very important. You have to keep very well hydrated. Not having liquids inside of you can really drain you more quicker than you might think. Especially if you're talking to a lot of people, you're taking pictures or interacting with people. It's critical that you're constantly drinking something, or at least that, because that'll just you'll be fine 1 hour. Next hour you'll be done and not realize, I haven't drinking anything in a few hours. That's important. Like I said, having healthy snacks throughout the day. You have to take a break. You have to take a 20-minute break every couple hours, 2 to 3 hours. Ian does his little spins around. I do my spins. That's important to make sure that you don't get burnt out from it. If it's a 2-day convention, at least for me, 2 days is not as bad. If it's a 3-day, it can get rougher once you hit Sunday or even late Saturday, because it's a lot more time if you're at your table a lot to do that. But that's really it. You have to sleep well. I mean, Ian doesn't like to sleep, but at conventions, but you have to make sure you get your sleep.
I don't sleep.
Sure, but Ian, socializes sometimes at these conventions. And while I like to socialize, I like to make sure I get like at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep at a convention. It doesn't always work out, but if you don't get that, you're going to be wiped out for sure, because it does take a lot out of you. And then it's not counting the energy that goes into a panel or two. In some conventions, I do 3 panels. So it's a bunch of factors, but that's the best advice I can give. You have to stay energized, hydrated, putting on a positive attitude. Even if you're tired, if you smile, it gives you more energy. It makes you feel better. It's uplifting even to smile, and every little bit helps.
For me, some similar things there. One, I cannot, in all aspects of life, I cannot overstate how important hydration is, especially at a convention. Any place where you're constantly talking, moving, walking, sitting in one spot, anywhere where you may not be getting the best nutrition, you need to at least make sure you're hydrated. You will feel slow and sluggish and dizzy if you're not getting enough water. So that goes for attendees as well. Just make sure you're constantly drinking. For me, I love talking to people. I really do like to socialize, but I am an introvert and I do lose my stores of energy pretty quickly. So lately I've been trying to preemptively stay happy and peppy, which means that I have to take a lot more breaks than I used to. I don't go to these conventions. Well, I don't take my anti-anxiety medication anymore, or at least not regularly. I usually travel. I think I've taken it twice since I stopped completely, which was March. So only in emergencies. So that means I've had to really change some things around. When I take breaks on the con floor, I usually go find a friendly booth, people I know, sit behind the booth, and just chill. I need, some time to relax. I want all my time on the floor where I'm talking to people to be fun and good. So I need some moments where I'm not talking and not being talked at. I will find Chris from Windy Gaming or Carlson from Mad Gear, and I'll camp out behind their booth and hide. After the convention floor, before socializing at night, I will usually go back to the hotel room and take half an hour to just lay on lay on the bed and breathe, and kind of get myself back.
Lay on that whole wheat.
Get myself back to normal, find some balance. That does mean that I do start, I have started to skip some dinners or some sort of things, but it's better than pushing myself all the way and burning out. I've found myself to be a lot more alert and attentive when I am around people, if I just make sure I take those those breaks for myself.
It's funny that you say you skip the dinners. I have to do the dinners because that's probably the only good food I'm going to have the whole day. So I make sure I load up on dinner usually. I mean, I hate to say it, it's a tradition now that whenever I go to these conventions, I find a sushi buffet because I love sushi, and that's usually what everyone agrees on. But getting it a good, healthy, protein-packed meal is probably what keeps me energized, especially for that next day, because usually throughout the day, either you eat very little or you eat whatever someone hands you, which isn't always the healthiest food.
It
wears
just,
you down.
I have to play it by ear. When I say skip dinner, I don't mean I skip eating dinner.
You need social dinner.
It's sometimes a dinner that's too large is too much for me after being
Sure.
on the con floor. So maybe I'll find one other person, or I'll just go eat dinner by
sure.
myself. I'll just go eat dinner by myself in the lobby. It doesn't mean I'm skipping dinner or I'm eating something unhealthy. It just means I'm not doing the big social dinner, especially if I know that I'm going to have a chance to see those people later that evening or something.
Oh yeah, I prefer usually when it's like 4 people at most, or 5.
The jumping from I definitely learned that jumping from the con floor directly into something like a dinner is not always the best move.
Oh yeah, I usually like to go back to the hotel for 15-20 minutes at least and be like, okay, rest, sit on the bed for a second, decompress. Now let's hit up the sushi buffet where I'll eat about $800 worth and get my money's worth in there.